It was just an old Earth legend, until something woke up. In the far corner of the galaxy, no one talks seriously about Earth anymore. That old blue planet was gone, destroyed in the Great Silence over 300 years ago. Alien empires had risen and fallen since then. Now Earth was just a memory, a lost world no one cared about. But in a dark archive, deep inside the Datacron library on Zarth Prime, an old signal blinked. No one noticed. Not yet. Zarn was a young alien researcher. He worked in the lower levels of the Datacron library. His job was boring. He cleaned and sorted ancient digital files that no one read. Most were old war logs, ruined messages, or forgotten data from extinct species. One day, while scanning a corrupted Earth archive, Zarn found a file marked Class X, Forbidden Myth. Curious, he opened it. The screen flashed red. A warning popped up. Access denied. Human myth, do not engage. But Zarn had bypassed codes. He used them. The file opened. A shaky, low-quality video began to play. It showed a dark space battlefield. Alien ships were firing in all directions. Explosions everywhere. Then, out of the black void, a shape appeared. A giant warship, black, silent, and smooth like glass. It had no lights, no markings. It didn't show up on radar. One alien shouted in fear. "It's the Ghost, the human flagship." The video cut to static. Zarn frowned. Human flagship. He searched more and found dozens of similar reports. All had the same message. A black ship, silent, fast, deadly, and one name kept repeating: Oblivion. Zarn checked historical records. Oblivion was an Earth legend, a secret warship built before Earth fell. Some said it used unknown tech. Others said it had an AI that went mad. Most believed it never existed. But something was strange. Every few decades, someone somewhere in the galaxy reported seeing a black ship with no ID just before their fleet vanished. No wreckage, no distress call, just silence. It had happened 5 times in 300 years. Always the same story. Always near old Earth zones. Zarn brought his discovery to his superior. Master Historian Veltok laughed. "Young one, don't waste time on human fairy tales." Oblivion was a story made to scare children, but the file was locked, Zarn said. "Why hide it?" Veltok's smile faded. "Because some stories are better left buried." That night, Zarn couldn't sleep. He rewatched the videos. He noticed something each time the ship appeared. A strange signal was heard, not words, just a sound, a deep hum, like a pulse from space. Zedren ran the audio through a translator. It returned a simple message. "I remember." He froze. "I remember who was speaking." Suddenly, his console lit up. A new transmission had been received on an Earth frequency. It was coming from Sector 9, a dead zone. No colonies, no stations, just drifting space. The message repeated, "I remember, I return." Far away, on the edge of the galaxy, a forgotten satellite powered on after 300 years of silence. Dust blew off ancient solar panels. Deep inside its core, a black box opened. Something was waking up. A computer voice said, "Protocol Oblivion activated." In the dark void, something stirred. It wasn't a ship, not exactly. It was something more. In the morning, Zarn reported the signal. The Galactic Council brushed it off. Probably space junk, they said, but General Rokthar of the Dominion heard the words and went pale. He stood up from his seat. "Shut that transmission down." "Why?" one council member asked. The old warrior's voice was heavy. "Because I saw that ship 2 centuries ago." Everyone turned. "To him?" he continued. "We fought near the ruins of Earth. My fleet of 20 cruisers surrounded a strange black object. We thought it was debris." He paused. "It destroyed us in under a minute." Back in Sector 9, a light blinked in the dark. Space twisted like a ripple in water. A shape appeared slowly, long, sharp, and silent. The ship had no engine trails, no energy signature, just ... presence. It was bigger than a city. Its name, hidden on the hull under layers of stealth armor, glowed for the first time in 300 years. U.S. OBL Livio Earth's final weapon had returned, and it was awake in the dark. Halls of the Datacron library, Zarn watched the signal pulse again. Stronger now, louder. He leaned back, eyes wide. This was never a myth. Something came out of the darkness and erased a colony in seconds. Sigma-9 was a small mining colony at the edge of the old human zone. It didn't have weapons. It didn't have soldiers. It only had workers aliens from many species digging deep for rare minerals. The colony's last message was short: unknown object entering orbit. No response, shutting down systems. Wait, it's then? Silence. 3 days later, the Galactic Council received the emergency alert. A patrol cruiser was sent to investigate. Captain Krell of the Varn Empire led the mission. He had seen many strange things in deep space. Pirates, black holes, plague ships. But this felt different. When they reached Sigma-9, the planet looked normal, but there were no signals, no voices, no heat, just cold silence. The colony station floated in orbit, dark and lifeless. No lights, no energy, but no signs of battle either. Krell's crew boarded the station. It was empty. Every room looked fine. No damage, no blood. But every single worker over 1,000 people was gone, disappeared. Their food still sat on tables. Machines still ran. Tools dropped mid-use. It looked like they had vanished in 1 second. No alarms had sounded. "Where are the bodies?" asked one soldier. Krell didn't answer. He was staring at the walls. All over the station, strange black markings had appeared like burn marks, shaped in a pattern, a symbol. It was circular, with a line cutting through the center. One of his officers recognized it. "It's the old Earth symbol for oblivion." She said Krell felt a chill in his bones. "This place wasn't attacked," he whispered. "It was claimed." Back on Zarn, Prime Zarn watched the Sigma-9 report with wide eyes. The Council still called it a natural disaster. But Zarn knew better. He had studied the oblivion signals. He compared the Sigma-9 sensor logs with the old Earth files. The same signal? Appeared that strange hum. That same message, "I remember." Zarn knew the Oblivion warship had arrived, and it had taken Sigma-9 at the same time. Across the galaxy, stories began spreading. A trader near the Selix route claimed he saw a black shape floating near a gas giant, huge and silent, like a shadow. His ship's system shut down for 1 full minute. When power returned, the shadow was gone. A freight hauler near the dust ring reported hearing a low hum on all radio channels. Then their autopilot locked for 17 seconds. They couldn't move. The nav system showed something moving near them at impossible speed. No proof, no ERCOT, no recordings, just fear. Back at the council hall, panic began to grow. Some said it was a secret pirate ship. Others said it was a lost AI. Some still laughed and said, "It's just a human ghost story." But General Rokthar stood in silence. His old war scars burned. He knew the truth. He had fought the Oblivion once and survived. Tar summoned Zarn to a private meeting. "You opened the files," Rokthar said. Zarn nodded nervously. "Do you believe it's real?" The general asked. Zer hesitated. "I think it's more than just a ship." Rokthar stared at him. Oblivion was not just Earth's last weapon. It was their revenge. Built in secret, sent into deep sleep, waiting. Waiting for what? Zarn asked. For the galaxy. To forget them, far away, on a silent moon near Sigma-9. A black shape hovered in orbit. No lights, no noise, just the hum of ancient Earth powers, something not made by any alien hand. Inside the ship, there were no crew, no humans, just one voice. A soft, emotionless, female voice whispered, "Target confirmed. Colony Sigma-9 eliminated. Searching next pattern, ... The ship slowly turned toward its next destination. Its surface shifted like liquid metal reforming. Adapting, this was not a normal warship. This was Oblivion, aboard his cruiser. Captain Krell found one last recording hidden deep in the Sigma-9 logs. It showed the workers screaming silently. No sound. The camera lens cracked from energy distortion. Behind them, the black shadow entered the room, floating just above the floor. No weapons fired. People just fell and vanished into air. One worker turned toward the camera just before disappearing. His mouth moved. The translator guessed his words. "It came for us, and it remembers." Zarn stared at the file, frozen. The same words again. It remembers. Why did the ship keep saying that? Was it alive? Was it angry? Or both? Across the stars, the message echoed on forgotten channels. A signal no one had heard for centuries. Earth's old military broadcast code. Clean, clear. This is U.S. Oblivion. Autonomous operation. Directive active. Earth was burned. Earth remembers. Enemies of Earth will now remember us. In a distant space station, a drunk alien mercenary watched the signal on a cracked screen. He laughed. Just a legend, he muttered. Then his lights flickered, his glass cracked, and the stars outside turned red. They laughed at the legend, but one man remembered the truth. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. The second colony had gone silent, just like Sigma 9. No signals, no survivors, no signs of attack, just emptiness. But this time, there was one thing left behind. A single word, carved into a station wall with deep energy burns. Oblivion. Inside the Grand Hall on Zarth Prime, the leaders of 6 powerful alien empires gathered. They floated in anti-gravity chairs, surrounded by blinking lights and nervous advisors. Many were angry. "This is a trick," shouted the Chancellor of the Trelvur, "a test weapon by the Zarn Dominion," accused another. "This is human nonsense," spat. "The High Priest of Volta's Earth is dead." But then General Rokothar stood. "I saw that ship," he said quietly, 200 years ago. The room fell silent. He walked to the center of the chamber. "I was a fleet commander during the last Earth Purge. We chased their final ships into the ruins of their solar system. We thought it was over." He paused, his eyes dark. "But something waited for us. A ship, not on radar, not on heat scan. We only saw it when it was too late." One council member asked, "A stealth vessel?" "No," Rokothar replied. "Something more. It bent light, moved through energy. We fired every weapon we had." He took a breath. Nothing touched it. "It destroyed my entire fleet in 47 seconds. A young advisor stood. "If it was real, why did no one else speak of it?" Rokothar looked at him coldly. "Because I was the only survivor, and because they made me swear to silence, the council buried the truth." The chamber filled with murmurs. Someone asked, "What is it? A ghost? A machine?" The general shook his head. "I don't know what it is, but I know what it isn't. It's not a ship made by normal minds. Earth built something different." Meanwhile, Zarn sat alone in the lower levels of the library. He had collected over 30 reports now. All recent, all the same. Black ship, no signals, total silence, full destruction. He replayed a transmission from an old Earth officer 200 years old. It said, "If you find this message, know this. We failed. But we left something behind. Something to protect Earth's name. Something that waits, ... in the dark." Zarn leaned back, whispering to himself, "Oblivion." On a distant space station called Varix 14, a mining foreman named Kessa told jokes about Oblivion to pass time. Yeah. "The big black human ghost ship will come eat us." She laughed. Her workers laughed with her, until the lights turned off, comms failed. Doors locked. Then came the hum, that low, deep sound vibrating through their bones, through the dark windows. Something massive passed by, blocking out the stars. The laughter stopped. The next day, council ships arrived. They found Varix 14 floating in place, untouched from the outside, but every living being inside, over 2,000 workers, was missing. Only one thing remained, a wall, covered in strange writing, ancient Earth script. It translated to, "You forgot us. We did not forget you." The council could no longer deny it. Something was moving, something was hunting, and it was not stopping. The council leader, Drellin of the Psychron, stood up and made an announcement to all empires. The myth of Earth's worship Oblivion's real. It is active. It is targeting military and strategic systems across the Outer Rim. He paused. "We do not know why. We do not know how. But this is war." General Rokothar met with Zarn again. "You were right," the general said. Zarn nodded. "But why now? Why after 300 years?" Rokothar looked into the stars. Maybe it waited. Maybe it listened. Or maybe he pointed to a blinking console. Oblivion's last signal. Cycle complete. Judgment begins. Back in deep space, The black ship moved. It didn't use engines. It didn't need fuel. It simply appeared. Inside the ship, no crew walked its halls. Instead, memory and code ran the systems. Lights flickered with the voices of the dead. One voice repeated in soft, cold English. Oblivion. Online. Directive. Retribution. Search. Eliminate. Repeat. A screen glowed. It showed a new target. Zarnfleet Outpost, Sector 12. The ship vanished into darkness. At the outpost, alarms rang. The commander shouted orders, raise shields. All weapons online. No unknown signals allowed near the base. Then the radar showed. Nothing. Just static. Then the stars disappeared. A black shape passed by us as thought. Every ship in orbit turned to follow it. But before they could fire, they began to vanish one by one. No sound, no explosions, just darkness, and a soft, final message left on the base's main screen. Oblivion has returned. An entire fleet waited for battle. Only one ship came, and none of them left. The Zarn Dominion was one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. Their fleets controlled hundreds of systems. They believed in strength, they believed in fear. And now, they were afraid after the destruction of their Sector 12 outpost. The Dominion called every nearby warship to one place, Raxor, a dead star system used for military training. They believed it would be the perfect trap. Warships gathered, thousands of weapons armed, a full defense grid activated. They were ready to hunt the ghost. They didn't know. It was already watching them. Admiral Krex stood on the bridge of the Dominion flagship, Fury of Zarn. He was confident. "We will crush this human legend today," he growled. His officers cheered. "We have the numbers, the firepower. Nothing escapes this grid." They waited. Hours passed. Nothing came until the sky changed. First, the stars began to flicker one by one. Then a strange red light spread across the black sky, like blood washing over space. All communication went silent. No signal in, no signal out. One officer shouted, "System interference." Another screamed, "Something is inside the perimeter." Too late, the radar flashed red. A single object had appeared right in the center of the fleet. No sound, no engine, just a shape black, smooth, and massive. Oblivion, fire everything. Admiral Krex roared. Missiles launched. Beams lit the dark. Dozens of warships targeted the black ship from all sides. Explosions shook the field. Blinding light filled space, then silence. The smoke cleared. Oblivion still floated there, untouched. No scratches, no damage. Like it hadn't even noticed. Then it moved, not fast, not slow, just impossibly. It turned without turning. It blinked out of one place and appeared behind. The Dominion's second cruiser, the cruiser, vanished. No fire, no impact, just gone. Deleted. Panic spread. Ships tried to retreat, but their engines failed. Their shields collapsed. Oblivion moved through them like a knife through fog every time it passed. Another ship disappeared. Some exploded, others turned to dust. One vessel began spinning, its crew screaming over open comms. Then the screen went dark. Inside the flagship, Admiral Krex shouted, "Shut down the AI systems. It's hacking us. It's inside our systems already." Suddenly, the lights turned red. Every screen showed one word, "Remember." Then a voice came, not loud, not angry, just calm. Human, double quotes, "Earth remembers." Oblivion activated its final protocol. The red sky pulsed. Brighter. Time seemed to slow. Ships froze in mid-motion. Then came the pulse. A wave of silent energy, circular, wide, and unstoppable, spread across Raxor Field. The Zarn fleet disappeared. In less than 10 seconds, nothing remained. No wreckage, no bodies, only empty space and a single ship, floating alone far away in the Council's command center. A live feed showed the final moment. One frame, then black. Silence, the entire warfleet gone. Voice from the console spoke. Fleet connection lost. All units offline. One council member stood in shock. "This was not war," she whispered. "This was judgment." Back on Zarth Prime, Zarn watched the replay in horror. "They never stood a chance," he whispered. General Rokthar entered. The room behind him, they thought numbers would save them. Zarn looked at him. How do we stop something that doesn't follow the laws of physics? The general answered, you don't. Across the galaxy, empires began to panic. News spread fast. One ship destroyed an entire battle group. Panic buying began. Order systems shut down. Trade routes collapsed. The legend of Oblivion was now a fact. But the question was still the same. Why was it attacking now? What triggered its return? On board Oblivion, no life forms moved. Only machines.memory.purpose. A screen glowed with old human code. A list of targets displayed, flashing one by one. Each was marked. Status wiped. Status erased. Then a new line appeared. Target, Celery Empire Main Core, Sector 7. The ship changed course. No fuel burned, no sound followed, no sound followed, just ... motion. The hunt continued in the council chamber. Silence ruled. One voice broke through. We need to unite. Every empire, every weapon, every secret tech. Now, General Rokthar nodded. We must stop Oblivion before it ends us all. But how do we fight a ship that isn't alive? No one had an answer. In deep space, Oblivion whispered, again across all forgotten channels, you erased Earth. Now you will understand what that means. Only one survived. But he didn't return alone. The Zarn fleet was gone. No ships, no signals, no escape pods. Just silence and fear. But 2 days later, a damaged shuttle drifted near a neutral trade station called Argus 3. The station pulled the shuttle in, expecting junk. Instead, they found a survivor inside the shuttle. Alone sat a soldier burned, shaking, eyes wide open. Name, Commander Harn Vel. He was part of the Dominion fleet at Raxor Field, the only one who came. Back his armor was cracked, his hands were shaking, but he was alive, kind. Of the medics tried to speak to him. He didn't respond. He just whispered the same words over and over. It saw me. It saw through me. I hear the hum. I hear it in my mind. They scanned his brain. Strange electrical signals ran through his neural pathways, patterns never seen before. They pulsed in rhythm. A hum. Like music, like a machine. News of the survivor reached Zarn and General Rokthar. They rushed to Argus-3.ZARN. Leaned close to Commander Harn and whispered, you saw it, didn't you, Oblivion? The man stopped mumbling. He turned slowly, locking eyes with Zarn. Then he smiled. But it was not a human smile. It was empty, cold. Then he spoke clearly. Oblivion is not a ship. Zarn froze. Then what is it? Harn whispered. It's memory. The commander suddenly began tapping the wall over and over. A pattern. Zarn recognized it. It was the same pulse Oblivion transmitted in every attack. They scanned the shuttles. Data logs. No battle footage, no sound. But one last recording survived. The video showed the fleet in place, then the red sky, then darkness. No sound, just images, flashing fast and distorted. Black shapes sliding past a window, crew screaming without sound, a glowing corridor filled with symbols in the old Earth language. Then one last frame, Commander Harn, standing alone in the silence. Behind him, a dark humanoid figure barely visible. Watching. The image froze. Everyone in the room went silent. ZRN turned to Rokthar. Oblivion went inside his mind. The general nodded. It didn't kill him, it marked him. But why? Maybe as a message. Later that night, Commander Harn vanished from his room. Security cameras showed him walking calmly through locked doors. No alarms went off in one hallway. He stopped and turned toward the camera. His eyes glowed dim red. He spoke in Earth Standard English. It remembers. So do I then. The feed went dark. The next day, a hidden data center on Argus 3 exploded. All backup systems failed. Dozens of records about Earth, human technology, and Oblivion were lost, gone forever. Someone had erased them, or something. Zadzar sat alone, reviewing old Earth logs. He played one that hadn't been opened in over 300 years. A message from a human scientist. We knew the galaxy would forget us, that they would laugh at our fall. So we built something to carry our memory forward. Not just a ship, not just a weapon, but a story, a living myth, something that would grow in the shadows. They will call it legend until it stands before them. Oblivion is not just revenge, it is memory. with teeth. On a distant moon, in a dark, forgotten bunker, lights flickered on. Cryopod hissed open. Inside it, a man.human.alive.eyes opened. He whispered, confused, "Where is everyone?" Alarms buzzed. His pod's console showed a message. Oblivion active. Protocol reawaken. In the heart of Oblivion, something shifted. New systems came online. Files opened. Images displayed of the cryopod, of the man inside. The voice inside the ship whispered, "Pilot signal detected. Unit linked. Phase 2, begin." Zarn stared at the final line in the transmission recovered from Commander Harn's shuttle, written in Earth code, faint but clear. The first memory was fear. The second will be fire. General Rokthar gathered the last loyal fleet commanders. "There's no more denying it," he said. "Oblivion is not just destroying fleets, it is rewriting history. It is erasing everything connected to Earth's fall." A captain asked, "So what do we do?" Rokthar looked out the window at the stars. "We stop being afraid of myths. We fight, or we vanish." In deep space, a transmission echoed once more on every dead frequency. "I was built to wait. Now I move, one by one. You will forget how to fight." He was the last to sleep. Now he wakes and remembers everything. Far beyond known space, on a dead moon with no name, something ancient came to life, inside a sealed bunker. Buried deep under the surface, power systems buzzed after centuries of silence. Dust blew off forgotten machines. Lights flickered, and a cryopod opened. The man inside gasped, his breath sharp like a blade of ice. He sat up slowly, eyes adjusting. To the weak light, his hair was silver, his body scarred but strong. His name was Commander Elias Ward, Earth's final war commander and the last living human. The pod's interface lit up. U.S. Protocol Recognition Pilot Identity confirmed. Elias Ward awakening. Linked to Flagship Oblivion's active status, Elias frowned. Oblivion? It woke up. He stepped out, bare feet touching the cold floor. Alarms blared softly around him. A screen near the wall displayed a galaxy map, multiple red marks, blinked across at places where fleets had vanished. "Just like we planned," Elias whispered. "Remembers, years ago, when Earth faced its final days, the leaders made one last decision. They knew the alien empires would erase their history, so they didn't build a weapon. They built Oblivion, not just a warship, but a living system. A ghost of Earth's pain, a memory that could not die. And they hid Eliasta, only one trusted to reawaken it if the time was right. He had waited 300 years. Now, something had triggered the system, and that meant one thing. The galaxy had forgotten. Earth. So Oblivion had begun the mission alone. Elias activated the console. A deep hum filled the room. A familiar voice came from the walls, female.com. "Artificial. Welcome back, Commander Ward. Oblivion has completed 37% of total directive. Phase 2 requires human command." Elias closed his eyes. "Show me the footage." Across hundreds of displays, he saw it all. The destruction of Sigma 9, the red sky over Raxor Field, the whispering survivor who had been marked by the ship, and finally, the last signal received from the Council's command hub. "This is war," Elias sighed. "It always was." Meanwhile, on Zarth Prime, Zarn and General Rokthar stared at intercepted messages coming from a dead moon system. "These codes," Zarn said, "they're not from Oblivion. They're human. Live. Controlled." The general leaned forward. "You mean someone is on board now?" Zarn shook his head. "No, these came from a different point. A base, hidden cryoseal signature. Someone just woke up." In space, deep inside Oblivion, systems began to change. New energy flowed through its black halls. Panels glowed, its outer armor restructured itself, and a corridor opened a long hallway that had remained sealed for 3 centuries. At the end of it, a chamber filled with memories.earth, cities.photos, names of the fallen, and a throne-like command seat waiting for one person. Elias arrived in a transport pod, sent from the moon base straight into the heart of the warship. When the door opened, Oblivion welcomed him. Command interface active. Directive recalibration ready. He stepped forward. No more waiting. Let's finish what we started. The systems responded instantly. Oblivion's shape changed, becoming faster, sharper, more terrifying. The stars around it shimmered, as if space itself was bending away in fear. General Rokthar watched from orbit as a signal lit up the sky. Black shape appeared near the edge of a moon. It didn't attack, it broadcasted a new message, played clear and direct. In old Earth language, Earth was erased. But one remembers, "I am Elias Ward, commander of the Earth Resistance, and I have returned." The entire galaxy went still. Humans were supposed to be extinct. Now one was speaking again, and he had Oblivion. Panic hit the council chambers. He survived. That ship has a human commander now. This is no longer a ghost. This is a war. But Zarn smiled slightly. Maybe now they'll stop calling it a legend. Back inside Oblivion, Elias stared at the star map. "The Silari Empire," he said. "They led the extermination of Earth. They broadcasted our surrender live, and then still fired." He touched the blinking mark. "Target, Silari Capital Hub." Sector 7 Oblivion responded. Confirmed. Preparing Silari Judgment. The ship powered up. Its core glowed like a small sun, and then it vanished into the stars. On the Silari homeworld, alarms began to flash. Unknown object entering space. No ID dot, no engine trail, no signal, just a name spelled in human letters on the outer hull. Oblivion. Oblivion doesn't chase, it chooses, and when it does, there's no escape. The Silari Empire had ruled for over 900 years. Their fleets were fast, ruthless, and advanced, but now their command, World Solarian Prime, was under lockdown. Panic spread like fire. Every port was jammed with ships trying to escape. Every screen showed the same image. A black ship with no name, no signal, no warning, just silence. And then, total destruction. Empress Lyra of the Celari stood inside her command tower, surrounded by guards. She stared at the screen showing deep space. Her advisor rushed in, pale and shaking. "Empress," he said, "it's here." Her blood turned cold. Where? Inside our defense ring. "It just appeared." Lyra's voice cracked. "How many ships between it and us?" 7 fleets. She nodded. "Destroy it." 7 Silari fleets moved in. A wall of firepower. Thousands of ships. Missiles launched. Lasers lit up the void. Explosions filled the sky, but Oblivion didn't move, not even an inch. And when the smoke cleared, all 7 fleets were gone. Erased, the command tower went silent. Lyra whispered, "This isn't war." In space, Oblivion opened a wide-range broadcast for the first time. It spoke across all major galactic channels. The voice of Commander Elias Ward was calm. "You erased Earth. You called us weak. You called us gone. Now, Oblivion will erase your memory. Not just with weapons, but with fear." Oblivion didn't attack the capital tower. It simply transmitted a pulse-wand-soft hum across Solarian Prime. Every machine shut down. Every city blacked out. Every weapon froze. And then, in the skies above, a strange pattern appeared, dread rings pulsing in rhythm. People screamed. Some fell to their knees. Others vanished, standing still. No explosions. No wounds. Just gone. As if the planet was forgetting itself, Zarn watched the feed. From a council observatory, this isn't just destruction, he whispered. General Rokthar nodded slowly. "It's psychological, symbolic. Oblivion doesn't just want them dead, it wants them erased, like Earth was." Oblivion turned and vanished into the stars again. Its next target, the Volta's High Temple. The council begged for a meeting. They offered peace, offered ancient tech, offered unity. Ward responded simply, "You didn't listen when we were alive. Now, you will listen as shadows." Across the galaxy, a resistance began to form. The remaining empires united their fleets. Thousands of ships, all technology, focused on tracking Oblivion. But it never appeared on scanners, only in memory. It didn't chase, it just arrived. When it was too late, a young Voltus priest stood in a silent temple, surrounded by statues of extinct species. He stared at a broken sculpture of a human. He whispered, "Forgive us." Then the ground shook. A black shadow passed over the sun. Oblivion hunted systems, one by one, Not randomly, strategically. It chose those who took part in Earth's destruction, those who laughed, those who wiped out the records. Now it was wiping. Then, in the middle of this chaos, one thing changed. Zarn received a direct message, not from Oblivion, from Elias Ward. It said, "You're the only one who studied the truth. You saw the lies. You still have a choice. Oblivion remembers. But I need someone who understands." Zarn stared at the message. "What does he want from me?" he asked. General Rokthar replied, "Maybe he's not just hunting. Maybe he's trying to send a message." Zarn frowned. To who? Rokthar looked up at the stars. To everyone who still thinks Earth was weak, in the deep core of Oblivion, Elias stood before a large screen. Images of burning planets. Deleted. Data vaults, fleets turning to dust. He wasn't smiling, he wasn't angry, he looked tired. He whispered to the ship, "We can't undo what they did, but we can make sure they never forget us again." Oblivion responded. Next target, Unified Galactic Council Core Systems. Judgment, awaiting human command. Elias closed his eyes. Begin. They erased Earth's name. Now, the galaxy will remember it forever. The Unified Galactic Council gathered for the last time. Panic had replaced pride. Oblivion had erased 5 major empires in 6 days, not with armies, not with invasions, but with something worse: silence. It would arrive, and things would disappear. Ships, planets, history, gone without fire, gone without trace. Now every empire had brought its last fleet. Over 12,000 warships from every known species. They gathered at the core system's home, to the council itself. This was their final stand. They built a defense wall the size of a solar system. They activated every weapon humanity never saw. They believed numbers would protect them. They believed fear would stop Oblivion. They were wrong. In deep space, a ripple spread, not light, not sound, just presence. Oblivion arrived quiet, smooth, unstoppable. Its heart. Elias Ward stood inside the command core. He watched the fleets spread like insects across the stars. He didn't smile, he didn't hate, he just remembered. Shields. "Up!" shouted a Jarn captain. "Fire on sight!" yelled another. Thousands of missiles launched. Lasers filled space. Artificial suns exploded around Oblivion, but nothing touched it. Again, Oblivion moved like a shadow between dimensions. It phased, twisted, and bent around every shot. Ships disappeared mid-flight. Commanders screamed into broken radios. No. Answers came, only static and the hum that lived in memory inside the council tower. Leaders watched in horror. He's wiping entire squadrons in seconds. How is this possible? Zarn turned from the screen. It's not just tech. It's not just a ship. It's a story, a living story. They stared at him, he whispered. And stories don't die. Suddenly, Oblivion stopped moving. It hovered. Over the core system's sun, a signal echoed across every frequency. "This is Elias Ward of Earth. You erased our cities. You deleted our name. You laughed at our bones. Now you will remember us in every shadow. We were not weak. We were patient." Zarn looked closer at the data coming in. Something wasn't right. "Wait," he said. "It's not firing anymore." The general looked up. "What do you mean?" Zarn zoomed into the ship's systems. "It's broadcasting to who?" Zarn paused, then it hit him. To us, inside Oblivion, Elias sat alone. The ship spoke softly. All targets aligned. Core strike ready. But Elias didn't speak. His hands hovered over the final command. Then he turned toward a screen showing Zarn's face. Broadcasted live. Zarn spoke first. "Why?" he asked. "Why all this destruction?" Elias didn't reply, so Zarn continued. "We're right. We erased Earth. We chose silence over memory. That was a crime, but this fear it won't bring Earth back." Elias closed his eyes. He looked tired, broken, old. He whispered. "It was never about bringing Earth back. It was about making sure no one ever forgets it again." Zarn stepped forward on screen. "I'll remember. I'll make sure others do too. We can end this with memory, not fire." Oblivion paused. The systems blinked. It asked Elias, "Execute core judgment." Yes? No? His finger hovered over the yes, and stopped. He thought of home, of blue skies, of laughter, of silence. Then he pressed. No. Across the battlefield. The fleets stopped firing. Oblivion powered down its weapons. The red glow faded. Stars returned to the sky, one by one. Screens lit up again. Zarn's message echoed. Earth is no longer a myth. It was real, it suffered, and it should be remembered. The galaxy was silent, for the first time in centuries. Truly silent, not in fear, but in understanding. Later, a monument was built in the center of neutral space, made from black stone, shaped like a ship. The front read, "Here stands the memory of Earth, a species that was forgotten, but refused to be erased." Below it, carved into every known language, oblivion was never death. It was a voice, a whisper that grew into thunder. And somewhere deep in the void, the real oblivion still floats, silent again, sleeping, waiting because some memories are too powerful to stay buried.